What's going on, everybody? It's your man ALPHACAT. Welcome to the Lion's Den. This is my YouTube story. Now I know you're thinking, ALPHACAT, a lot of people did their YouTube stories last month, and last month was the 5-year anniversary. I know. YouTube actually had included me. They actually filmed a part of my story for me. But I actually wanted to take time to film my own story and tell more behind what my YouTube history and story really is. And so I'm going to do that now. I logged onto YouTube back in December of 2005. So yes, I have been on YouTube for a grip, or a minute, or in layman's terms, a very long time. I first got on to basically just give myself more exposure as an actor. When I first got on YouTube, the very first YouTuber that I noticed was a guy by the name of Bohem, BOH3M3. And at the time, he was featured on the front page for a video called No Cursing. No cursing or no swearing, something like that. And I checked, and I don't think that video is actually on YouTube anymore. But he was on the front page for that, and I just found that so interesting. And I really liked his channel, his vibe. You know, he was animated, he was angsty, and like, you know, he was edgy. And I remember when I made my very first blog, I shouted him out. Now, mind you, when you make your very first blog, no one's watching you because it's your first one. But I shouted him out, and somehow, ironically, he saw or heard about my shout out and came and commented on my video. My very first video, I had gotten the attention of a big YouTuber, and I still today don't know how he saw that. And he said, "Thanks a lot, man. I like the way your first blog is a great one. I think you probably do great things, and I'll be watching." And I thought that was cool, and I was like, "Yeah, check me out." And so that just kind of kicked it off, and I started doing like a lot of videos where just being silly, playing around with the special effects as most people do when they first start learning how to use a camera or editing. They put everything in fast motion or slow it down, and black and white and sepia colors. And so anyway, I started blogging a lot, and I got into the community, and I started watching people that I liked and making video responses and just interacting, and I got really involved in the community.
99 subscribers on YouTube for my blogs, 99 subscribers on my blog. If one more comes along and subscribes to my blog, that's 100 subscribers on YouTube on my blog. Yay! Hopefully I can continue to make you laugh. Yeah. What now?
Not too long after that, something came up called The Gathering, which was a YouTube meetup that was going to be happening in New York on 7/7/2007. And I was really interested in that, and I wanted to go, but I knew at that time I had not been yet featured on the front page. And I'm like, you know what, when I get there, I want people to know who I am. So my goal is to get featured before this gathering, this meetup happens. I don't know how, but I'm going to make a video that's going to get featured. At the time, I had been cool with a editor at YouTube by the name of Big Joe. Now, Big Joe was a great friend, a great person, and we had talked a lot, and he really liked my stuff, and he was always pushing for me via the other editors at YouTube to feature some of my stuff because he really liked what I was doing. And I hit my goal. Just before the gathering came, I made this random video called Wash Your Hands.
Guys and them not washing their hands. Fellas, get your act together, get your mind right, get your hygiene together, wash your hands when you go to the bathroom. That stuff is so nasty. I guess that's all I got to say. Just talking about it, I need to go wash my hands.
Now let me say something. Back in those times, you would end up being on the front page of YouTube for like 3 to 7 days at a time, and that's why getting featured was such a big thing. Second thing about getting featured on YouTube is that oftentimes it happens to a video that you don't expect and or want to get featured. I was like, I didn't want this video to get featured, but whatever, cool. I go to the gathering. That was fun. That was probably one of the most amazing experiences because I met a lot of YouTubers for the first time, and a lot of them were really, really great people in person, and we hung out. And I actually ended up hosting the after party for this meetup in New York City, and I got one of the most expensive clubs in the city because I knew quite a few promoters back in New York, and it was a fun time. And so fast forward, after that, I ended up making this video called Sneeze While I Pee.
I try to hold it. This cannot be true. God, I really hate it when I sneeze while I pee.
And that was my first video that got actually featured on the homepage of YouTube, like in the featured section. I was excited. I thought I was on top of the world. I thought I was rich. I thought I was going to heaven. I thought everything. I get on the front page, and literally just like an hour or so later, I was taken down off of the homepage because Oprah had joined YouTube and had bumped me off the front page. and I was livid. And so I ended up writing to someone in YouTube, and a bunch of my subscribers ended up making a big stink about it. And they ended up putting me back on the front page after Oprah was taken off. So I don't think that had ever been done at the time, where someone was on the front page, got bumped off for the next person to get featured, and then put right back up. I don't think that had ever happened before. It was just like a great moment for me. Looking back on the video, I think I would have done that video so much differently, because you learn so much between then and now, but you know, the video is what it is. So. Now around this time, I had been in New York for a while, and I had been working in restaurants for a while, and I was getting very upset with the fact that I was beginning to get some exposure on YouTube, but it had not really helped my acting career just as of yet, and that's what my goal was. And I was getting really sick of working in restaurants and tired of serving tables and blah blah blah, and that was just driving me nuts. And I was stressed out about money because New York's expensive and you don't always make the greatest money waiting tables, and I was pretty stressed out at the time. People's channels were starting to pop, and mine wasn't, and I couldn't figure it out because I felt like I had something special, but it just wasn't happening. And I remember, you know, being stuck around like 3,000 subscribers or something like that. And, you know, I would go for weeks like without gaining one subscriber, and then after weeks I'd like lose one. And it was the like ironically saddest thing. And then I met a girl by the name of Levie. Levie is a recording artist who is also a YouTuber, and she has an album and writes her own songs and does covers. And you know, I found her stuff online. I'm like, oh, this girl's cool, and we started kicking it and chatting it, and we started talking on Instant Messenger, and we started talking on the phone. And I was like, listen, if you ever come to New York, let's hang out. You know, let's do a collab, because you know, collab videos are always popular on YouTube. And so she ended up coming to New York one day, and when she came to New York, we met, and then we hit it off from moment one. And that moment one is actually on YouTube, because when she opened the door, she had the camera rolling. So the moment that we met is literally on tape, and it's on YouTube. And from that moment, the spark flew, and we've been together since. I'm gonna fight you.
Here. Calm down. Let's sing.
No, oh God,
Let's sing a
no.
song.
Lisa?
Sing a song with me. What was that? That was like a little dance.
I heard my foot squeak, and I was like, oh, squeak again, foot.
But since we've no place to go,
Ouch!
Sorry.
let us know, let us know, let us know.
Lisa Levie is a biter.
You're mean.
Ouch! Do it.
Why'd you do that? Don't do that.
Ouch!
We've been dating now for 2.5 years this month, and you know, she's the greatest person in the world to me. And it's just funny to say that I met my girlfriend on YouTube as well. We don't always tell people that because it's just kind of awkward to say, yeah, I met my significant other on the internet. So we oftentimes will just say that we met through mutual friends. So we started dating, and we did long distance for 9 months because she lived in Cali at the time and I lived in New York. At a certain point, I decided to move to California because I wanted to further my acting career. And I'd always planned that after New York, I would either do Florida or California. And since she was out there, California made the most sense. So went to California, but just before moving to California, I got fired from my last job. She and I both were sick of doing long distance at the time. And she was like, you know what, I don't care, just come out here, we'll figure it out when you get out here. I was like, okay, so I moved out there, and you know, when I got fired from my last job, something clicked in here and in here that said, you know what, I'm not working in another restaurant again, and I'm just gonna start banging out videos on YouTube, because it was around that time that the partnership program on YouTube kicked in, and people were beginning to make money, and some people were beginning to make a lot of money. And I'm like, you know what, this is what I knew could happen all along. I didn't know it was gonna be this, but I knew there was gonna be a way for people to sustain themselves online on YouTube. I'm gonna make it so that I don't have to go back to restaurant, because I'm gonna make enough money off my videos. So I get to California, start making videos, things are still going okay. Right around the time that I moved to California, I hear about a guy running for the office of president by the name of Barack Obama. You know, I hadn't thought much of it, and just before I got fired, someone at work had made a joke. I came into work and they said, oh, here comes Obama. And I had heard of the guy, and I just kind of laughed like, oh, that's funny, whatever. And you know, I'm thinking, you're only saying that because I'm the only black guy that works here, let alone the only light-skinned black guy. But then like I had an epiphany, and I was like, wait a second. I don't really do impressions, but I am an actor. And this guy is running for office. Looks like he could win because he's very popular. If I came up with an impression of him, a good impression, and got out there first before anyone else did it, and if he won, he would be the most popular person on the planet, which would therefore possibly put a lot of steam under my acting career. And then it just all clicked, and I said, you know what? I don't do impressions. This is kind of scary because it's something new, but I'm just gonna give it a shot. And then I made my first Barack Obama video called Obama Addresses YouTube.
My name is Barack Obama.
I ended up getting hundreds of thousands of views on that video, and I had never gotten views like that before. So I was like, okay, this is cool. People are responding to it. I like this.
Okay, just take notes from me. My swag is ridiculous.
Mind you, meanwhile, in the background, let's keep in mind, I was unemployed. So I'm making all these videos hoping to like make something crack so I can start making money. Just before moving to Cali, I found out that Denny's had this impressionist competition for political candidates. Here I was just learning to do this, my first impression, and okay, I'm gonna jump into a national competition as a Barack Obama impressionist. I got in the competition and I won, and I'm thinking, holy crap, I had noticed Lisa Nova had started doing Sarah Palin, and she was getting a lot of steam from that as well. And I wanted to do something with her, and I'd been writing to her, but we didn't know each other at the time. And my channel at that time was around 6,000 to 7,000 subscribers. And ironically, like a week or two later, she ended up writing to me. She's like, hey, I just found your channel, you do a great Barack impression. I want to know if you're available to do a video. Now that's the first time I'd ever been asked to do a video with any big YouTuber, and so I was flipping out. I'm like, wow, this is crazy, like Lisa Nova wants to do a video, and so I was stoked. Now, I was nervous because not only was I doing a video with her, who's a big YouTuber, but she also used to be on Mad TV, and she had a McCain impressionist who was doing the video with us, who also used to be on Mad TV. So here I went from sitting at home doing videos by myself to doing this Barack video with these two former Mad TV castmates, and it was an entirely different situation that I had been in. So I was really nervous, and I tried not to show it, but we did the video came out great.
Just one more point.
Yes, sir.
I plan to cut taxes for 95% of the American working family. Okay, so let's get that straight. 95%, I'm going to cut taxes. Okay, if you make less than $250,000 a year.
Just before the presidential election, I got the idea to do a spoof, a musical spoof. And now, mind you, before the Barack Obama thing came along, that's what I was going to be trying to do next. First was musical spoofs, because like my entire life I've always been writing parodies to songs, and my friends always laugh at me and they're like, man, you always change the words of songs. What is it with you? It's because it was always parody, which is always in me, and that's the one thing I wanted to try first. But then I started doing Barack first, and I said, you know what, let me do a Barack musical parody. At the time, T.I.'s Whatever You Like was really hot, and I really liked the song. I have a tendency to parody songs that I like, and I really liked the song, and the words just immediately came to my head. I'm thinking he's gonna be the first black president in office, and he's gonna be celebrating first black press. Now ain't that nice? I'm in the highest office, that's right. Now I can do whatever I like. I filmed it, I was editing it, and I also had an alternate ending just in case he didn't win, where he was gonna sing the whole song, and then at the very end he was gonna wake up from a dream and realize he lost the election and go, oh well, we came so close, and then that was gonna be the alternate ending. And then the night of the actual election, I was finishing up the editing, and I remember sitting at home with Lisa and we're watching the election, and then all of a sudden he won at like 9 o'clock at night. And I had never in my life seen an election end so quickly. Oftentimes they go through the night and then recounts, and they're announcing states all throughout the night, but the numbers came in so quickly, and I was just floored, like, man, he won quick. And then it hit me like, I gotta get the video up. And so I finished it up real quick, rendered it, and put it up. Now that night, Lisa and I had been invited to like an election party at Lisa Nova's place. And that was the first time, you know, we'd been invited out with any big YouTubers, and we were excited. And so, you know, I threw up the video, we got in the car and got on the road to head to her place. On the way there, I look at my phone and I'm like checking for comments, and the comments are rolling in like I had never seen before on any video. And I'm tripping out, I'm like, babe, I've got X amount of comments, and it's only been like 30 minutes. And she's like, you're kidding me, we're just blowing up. And that video ended up being my #1 video now with over 17 million views. Once the T.I. parody was out, my channel was never the same after that. Like, it just started growing, I started getting subscribers. My channel started growing nearly exponentially at that point. Like, it was doubling every month, and I had never seen growth like that. And at that time in 2009, I think it was myself and Shane Dawson were like, as far as I can remember, were like 2 of the biggest channels. Of course, his blew up way bigger than mine. But I remember at the time we were like doing like this, and then he started going like this, and I was still growing like exponentially, but he was like super exponentially growing, and it was cool to watch that. When that video blew up, I immediately started making a lot of money, not only from YouTube, but from other opportunities that were outside, and I had literally gone from, at that point, just before I was about to give up and go back to restaurants, I had gone from unemployed to self-employed in just about a matter of a month. But someone close to me said, that is crazy, and they said, do you think you can do it again? And I was like, wow, well, I don't know if I can do that again. I mean, that was a specific video that was like, it just was a perfect moment, you know, and you know, it just happened at the right time. It's one of those timing things that, you know, you can't recreate. I said, but I like the challenge. I'm gonna try to do it again. I kind of did some thinking and I thought of what's another good song to do, and more importantly, what's good timing? And I said, you know what? Good timing would be the presidential inauguration. Good song at the time, I'm thinking, what's the biggest song out? Beyonce's Single Ladies. And at first I thought it was a silly idea. I'm like, Barack Obama doing Single Ladies. Like I'm probably gonna get ripped for this because this is gonna be corny as hell. But before I even chose that, backtrack a little bit, the song that I was gonna do was Akon's Make Love Right Now. I don't think that's the title. I wanna make love right now, now, now. That song. And I had written out that one first. And I went to record it and I didn't like it. And I was like, you know what, I'm not feeling this one. And so I went back to the Beyonce one that I started writing, I finished it. And I asked Lisa, which one should I do? And she goes, you know what, do the Beyonce one. The presidential inauguration hit, I uploaded it. And then again, kaboom. And I was just like, yo, I did it twice. And to date, that video now is just behind the T.I. one. And today, the Beyonce one is now my most watched video on a daily basis, even today. Out of all my videos, it's the most watched, and then the second one is the T.I. And then things just really started blowing up. I got contacted by Entertainment Tonight, and they were like, we want you to come on and do, you know, the show as a guest co-host and all sorts of stuff. We're gonna interview you about your videos and have you do a little dancing.
On set, please. Makeup and hair for a mom.
That is absolutely great.
Another cool thing that came out of that was I ended up performing for Aretha Franklin at her birthday party. I get a call from Aretha Franklin's assistant. She's like, Aretha Franklin loves you. Can you come to her birthday party in Detroit and perform? I'm like, well, yeah, of course. You know, and they said, you know what, we have a better idea. Not only that, can you also call her guest list as Barack Obama and invite them to the party? So they sent me the Aretha Franklin's guest list, mind you, which is laced with tons of celebrities. And I'm like, okay, yeah, can I speak with Al Sharpton, please? Now, with my original goal being to put some steam under my acting career, that's exactly what I had done, because then I started getting contacted by companies like HB, Carl's Jr., Sanyo Electronics, Puma Clothing, General Electric, to do spots for them to promote their brand. I got called to audition for a lead in a film. I think one of the most interesting stories, because there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, one of the most interesting stories is that I actually got a call to do a video shoot for, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name, so I'll just kind of say something that rhymes with it. I got called to do a video shoot for a company called Stepsy, and they called me up. They're like, you know, we want you to come do a video shoot and give a speech as Barack Obama. We're gonna send our helicopter to come pick you up. They actually sent a helicopter to come pick me up with the Stepsy logo on it. And we flying over to the place. We fly right past the Hollywood sign. We're taking pictures, and I get there. The Secret Service waiting for me. And, you know, I'm walking with the Secret Service, and I give the speech. And it was just a really cool experience. Along with that, so many other things that have happened that, like, I don't really mention to you guys unless it's like something that's worth mentioning. But, like, you know, I got to go and sit in on a Family Guy reading with the actual voices of the Family Guy. Tons of things have opened up because of what I started with doing the Barack thing.
Hey, are you throwing an Oscar party, and can we come to it? Barack Obama.
Yes, I am, and no, you cannot.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Yes, you can.
I wish we ended on him. But
Check out the YouTube spoof of President Obama singing "Blame It on the Economy."
I've been in tons of news stories. You know, I was on Bill O'Reilly, who hates me because I do Barack Obama. And Bill O'Reilly called me a pinhead, and then I was in some just amazing articles by like the New York Times and Time Magazine, and like it's just pretty much every major network I've been on because of what I've been doing. And it's just a phenomenal thing, man. It's just, it feels like such a blessing. And I just found this out like yesterday, that those 2 videos I told you about, you know, the T.I. spoof as Obama and then the single lady spoof as Obama, those 2 videos are number 8 and number 10 most favorited of all time in entertainment on YouTube. Like, that's crazy. See, my channel's grown a lot, and when your channel's grown, sometimes it's easier to get more views. But here I had 2 juggernaut videos, both pretty much at 17 million. And I made these when my channel was at 7,000 subscribers. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. You know, I would have probably been less impressed with it had I made those videos and it got 17 million and my channel's where it's at now at 280,000 subscribers. And now because of that exposure and what it's done for my channel and blown me up, I'm now able to show people other things that I like to do. Musical parodies, for instance, which is something that's growing, and I'm gonna be doing a lot with that. I'm not done at all. Believe you me, I'm not done. I got a lot of things cooking, and so I'm ready to rock. I want to thank all of you guys, all my subscribers and fans and supporters and friends friends that I've made through YouTube. I mean, there's so many people on YouTube that I've become friends with. YouTube is just, it's been like a family, you know, and you guys are responsible for helping me become what I am right now. To that, I gotta say a big thank you, and I literally do love you guys for that. There's a lot that's been going on behind the scenes. I'm not even gonna get into all of that stuff. Some great things are on the way, I promise. That's all I can really say, but for the most part, that was my YouTube story. And I love y'all, and thanks for coming to the Lion's Den. I've been saying that since day one. Deuce.
What now?
However, I promise you that by the end of my term, America will be able to stand up together for the first time and agree that once you go black, you don't go back. Thank you all very much. God bless you, and God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, Iman.